Good day, everyone. It's Meredith Leon McCormick for World Bride Magazine. What a summer it has been. We're getting into fall and entering into winter. And what does that mean? It's engagement season. But before we start talking today, I want to make sure that you're following us on all our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and all the other good things. So, for starters, what we wanted to talk about this season is because engagement season is about to happen. Usually during the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve holidays, people start to get engaged and the questions gets popped and the girl says yes. And then the first thing she thinks about is, where am I getting married? Location, location, location. Then her dress. And then she's going to tell her friends if they're not already in the space with her as she gets engaged. This season, it might be a little bit different because of COVID, because we're encouraged to stay home and be safe. So what we decided to do was reach out to some of our influential designers that we wanted to highlight. When you think of bridal and bridal fashion, we tend to think of the same names that are synonymous with wedding gowns. That's Vera Wang, Zola, Reem Acra, and Ramona Kavesi, and some plenty other more. But now we are looking to change that a little bit. How are we going to change that? We wanted to bring to light some of the designers that seem to have faded to the background, and they are Black designers. So two that come to mind for me when I was doing my historical check was Elizabeth Heckley, very famous in the 1800s to the early 1900s, but Anne Lowe, the very famous Anne Lowe, who everybody should know, she designed the dress of our famous Jackie Kennedy Onassis that we've come to know as the American Queen of Fashion. So how is it that her name was never highlighted to the degree that we should have known it? We decided we at World Bride Magazine were going to highlight some of the most infamous, famous Black designers so that we can give them the proper homage that they should have gotten. So we wanted to start with this young lady that I met some years ago during Fashion Week and in and out of the industry. But what touched me more was actually a post that she did on Facebook. And it reads, Pantora Bridal is 7 years old today. Last Friday should have been a huge masquerade party at the Brooklyn Bank, but the world said, chill, sis. I took a bet on myself, a $4,000 loan. They wouldn't approve me for $10,000 and every cent of my 4K savings and created Pantora Bridal. The thing that makes Pantora Bridal special is commitment to seeing, acknowledging, and celebrating women, especially Black women. I wanted to introduce you to this young lady who is taking the bridal fashion world by storm. Please welcome Miss Andrea Pitter. Yay! How are you, Andrea?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I love your story. I love the fact that you're Brooklyn based and I'm Brooklyn based and you know how Brooklyn rolls. I love it. I love it. I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So can you please tell us a little bit about the name first? Let's start off with the name. How did you come up with the name Pantora Bridal?
So, Pantora Bridal was created when I was 12. I was 12 years old in junior high school and I was applying to the High School of Fashion Industries. In order to be admitted into that school, you needed to create a portfolio and or a garment. I created a portfolio, but I felt like I needed a brand name. So, P is for Pitter, Ann is for Andrea, and Tora is my middle name.
Mm. Brilliant, creative as usual. And there you have it. So that answers my first question. But I wanted you to tell me, when did you realize that this was your calling?
Oh, when did I realize it was my calling? I'm not sure that I ever had this epiphany that bridal was the thing that I wanted to do. I think that I kind of just ended up in bridal. There was this time when I was being commissioned to make dresses, any type of dresses. Just as a designer, I made everything and all things. And someone commissioned me to make a white dress, and a few weeks later they sent me pictures, and it was a wedding dress. I had no idea it was a cotton dress, and I get pictures of a beautiful wedding in Central Park, and I'm like, oh my God, I made my first wedding dress. And it was wedding dresses ever since.
Wow. So it was an accidental entry into the bridal fashion industry.
It definitely was. I loved evening wear and I loved details, but I never really considered being a wedding dress designer. Like, I
Mm.
just knew that any dress that came my way, I was happy to design it. But I ended up loving the fact that I was a part of such a beautiful occasion.
Wow, wonderful. So now that brings me to the question about schooling and training. So did you end up going to the fashion school? Is that how
I
you
did. I
got?
went to High School of Fashion Industries, and then
Mhm.
I went to FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology.
Wow. So you are formally trained, but you are also gifted because that's what led you to go to those schools.
So I was home. I learned at home, self-taught.
Mm.
And the way that I even stumbled on that sewing machine is so bizarre. My mom had a sewing machine for years, and I would run home and sneak and use it every day after school until I was caught. But yeah, I went to the High School of Fashion Industries where my teachers really, really did take me under their wing. I'm still in touch with so many of my teachers now. They made sure that I was successful. Like, it was,
Wow.
there was no way around it. They made sure that, they took care of me.
Well, you just hit on a point of the value of mentorship and the reason why, educators are such valuable people in people's lives because they guide them through the stages of life. Which leads me to the question, who were some of your designers that inspired you to get into the industry?
I would say Tracy Reese.
Wow. All right now.
Tracy Reese, I was obsessed. I was obsessed with Tracy Reese. In high school, I won an award, and Tracy Reese came to visit
Wow.
our school, and she invited me to her showroom, and I literally became obsessed with Tracy Reese for years. And my last year in college, I ended up being her intern and fit model.
Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. That's amazing. And around how old were you when you started to have these wonderful opportunities?
My first internship, I was about 16 years old for a
Wow.
company called Bomb and Bullock. It's a bridal
Really?
company located in Midtown. Midtown
Yep,
Flyer.
I'm
Chelsea
aware of
is,
it.
is located in Chelsea. I think they've split ways now, but Birnbaum and Bullock was where I first started. I was there for several months before I got my next internship at Donna Rico. But it was internship after internship since I was 16.
Wow. Wow. The value of mentorship and internship. So, what are some things about your services in your salon that makes you so special? Because looking at your Instagram, it is off the charts. The pictures are popping. People are assertive about finding you and commenting on it. It is beautiful. What about your services that you offer with your designs keep people coming back? What would you say?
I wouldn't even say it's the services per se, what we offer. I think it's the sentiment. It's very important to me that we remain celebratory and we're constantly celebrating women just because. I think that this idea of getting married, that oftentimes people celebrate the wedding, but they're not celebrating the marriage. We're
Mm,
celebrating in the next phase that they're entering.
right.
It's really important for me to see women, just to like see you, acknowledge you, hear you, make sure that you know that everything that we are doing is to service you. So it's really the sentiment. The fashion, somehow, I always say that the fashion is the cherry on top,
Right.
but it is it's everything that I've worked on to make sure that our size chart makes sense for women that I represent. The curvy women, the women whose hips are fuller than their bust, whose waists are smaller perhaps, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not, but there's no one body type, and it seems as though one body type is constantly celebrated, and I just want to celebrate everyone. And
Yes.
I think that women understand that, and that's why they seek out Pantoras. They know that we are super intentional about celebrating them.
Mm. Mm. That touched on my last question. What was what was your take on body diversity, and why did you feel it was so important to have representation? So your pictures and the even your website is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. You bring glamour back to bridal. You make the bride want a reason to celebrate herself, her body, and the occasion. So I find that you have totally lived up to the mission of your company completely. But what are you doing to ensure the safety of your brides during this challenging time of COVID, and people have to make appointments and wearing masks and all that other stuff? What are some of the things you're taking to ensure their safety?
Well, we're encouraging our brides to come in with masks. We have masks on hand for them if they show up unprepared. We're taking temperatures and sanitizing, where our team is wearing their mask and sanitizing regularly. We're stepping away as often as we can. So once the bride is dressed, we're maintaining our 6 feet. We're constantly reminding them that they can have their guests on Zoom or on Skype, and we'll allow them to
Nice.
be a part of the celebration because we are limited to the amount of people that we can host in store. So we're just taking this pandemic very seriously and remaining cautious.
Yeah, and your space is absolutely stunning. It's on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, in the heart of Bed-Stuy, and it begins the area where it starts to get really luxe. Mansions, beautiful homes are around that area. Can you tell us about the space and how did you acquire it and all of that? Because it kind of takes like 1/4 of the block, right?
Yeah. So when I opened Pantora, it was about 15 blocks away or so, maybe less, in Crown Heights. It was very small. And we outgrew it so quickly. We were adapting to new spaces right across the street. We picked up another space and then we grew out of that. And it became very obvious that we needed to find somewhere that we could be for a little bit of time. And we found this space on Nostrand Avenue. It's about 3,000 square feet.
Wow.
It's 2 floors. We have 3 boutiques within the 2 floors. So on our main floor is our Pantora Bridal Boutique. On the lower level, we have a sample boutique, which is new and temporary. And then we have the Pantora Noir Boutique that has specialty dresses. They're very VIP. Appointments have to be specifically made. You're allowed to have an extra guest in that space, and it's very, very intimate. So we have 3 different types of boutiques to service as many brides as we can.
Ah, it's beautiful. I've been inside. I think it's gorgeous. Now, you are doing something completely exciting with Zola. Please tell our viewers and readers what it is that you're doing. You just made this amazing announcement. Please tell us.
Zola and I have teamed up for Zola's first ever wedding wear collaboration.
Wow.
I'm really excited. They've never done a wedding wear collaboration yet. Zola is legitimately like the powerhouse for bridal. Brides go there to do their registries, their invitations, to just shop and get inspiration. And I think it's really, really important to kind of be in the center of all of that celebration.
Wow. Mainstream. Talk about mainstream. We're talking about global mainstream. How exciting is that for
Yep.
you? How exciting. Now, tell us about the collection. Is it a limited edition collection? What makes this different than the Pantora Bridal collection that you currently have in service?
So we recently just started to create ready to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And Zola actually approached us around the time that we were going to launch our ready to wear line
Wow.
about creating this collaboration. And I thought that it would be amazing, and the timing was so perfect. It's not limited edition, so we'll be with Zola for a little while. But I'm really, really excited to be able to offer Zola's customers something new. I think that the clothing that they had on the website was awesome, but they're allowing some Pantora flavor.
Yay!
And I'm happy with that because we're all like joyous and flamboyant. We like shiny things over at Pantora. So I'm happy that we like brought a little shine over to the Zola website.
Yes. No, I love it. The bling, the bring in the bling. I love it. So congratulations on that. Can you tell us what is the price point that for those pieces?
The price point at Zola is about 195 to 325.
Nice.
We have robes and jumpsuits and two pieces and dresses, and it's really affordable.
Wonderful. Thank you and congratulations again. Please tell our viewers and readers where they can find you. Spit out all your social media information.
Everything. You can find us on social at Pantora Bridal on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. You can purchase Pantora Bridal by booking an appointment on our website, pantorabridal.com. And if you're not local to New York, we are sold in several stores across the country, including Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, and a few more in the coming months.
Thank you so much and congratulations and thank you for being the best of us and representing women of color, Black women in all shapes and sizes, but not limited to only Black women. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Ciao. Bye. So, everybody, that was the beautiful Andrea. When I tell you this woman is brilliant, her story is not only aspirational, but it should move you to come and support her. Not because you should support her, but because you want to be fabulous yourself. So, on your wedding day, consider Pantora Bridal for your wedding gowns and wedding needs. And check her out on Zola and see what they're having going on for her and many others. Thank you. Ciao, Bella. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Ciao, Bella.